Let's start chapter 13, Going to the Moon. In this chapter, we will learn about moon and going to the moon. Let's first do the warm-up exercise. What we have to do in this? We have to color the clouds blue for the things that we see in the sky and the other with the yellow. Stars we see in the sky. Sun we see in the sky. Clouds we see in the sky. Moon we see in the sky. Rainbow we see in the sky. We will color these clouds with blue and rest of the clouds will be colored with yellow. Now come to moon. So children, have you seen moon? Yes, we can see moon up in the sky on a clear night. The moon shines at night. And do you know that moon is the nearest neighbor of the earth? Now come to going to the moon. Human beings had dreamed of going to the moon, and when this dream came true in 1969. Three astronauts flew to the moon in a rocket. Among these, Neil Armstrong was the first man to step on the moon. These astronauts brought some soil from the moon. They took photographs of the moon. We have come to know of many new things about the moon from the soil and the photographs. Do you know that there is no air to breathe on the moon? There is no water to drink. There are no trees, no flowers that can grow on the moon. So there is not life on the moon. We cannot live on the moon. So far, no Indian has set his foot on the moon. Some Indians have gone into the space. Squadron leader Rakesh Sharma was the first Indian to do so. Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian woman to go into space. She went into space for the first time in 1997. Sunita Williams, another Indian woman, stayed in space for 6 months in 2007. In 2012, she spent 4 months in space. She is Kalpana Chawla and she is Sunita Williams. Now come to summary. In 1969, Neil Armstrong became the first man to step on the moon. There is no life on the moon. Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian woman to go into space. Sunita Williams stayed in space for 6 months. Now come to exercise. Come to A. Oral questions. So come to first. Who was the first man to step on the moon? Neil Armstrong was the first man to step on the moon. Is there life on the moon? No, there is no life on the moon. Which Indian woman stayed in space for 4 months in 2012? Sunita Williams. Now come to B. Fill in the blanks. There is no air to breathe on the moon. There is no water to drink on the moon. There is no life on the moon. Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian woman to go into space. Now come to C. What we have to do? We have to draw a moon for the true statements and a ball for the false. Man landed on the moon in the year 1959. It is false. We cannot live on the moon. It is true. Kalpana Chawla went into space in 1997. It is true. Sunita Williams in 2012 stayed in space for 12 months. It is false. Now come to D. In this we have to match the columns to complete the sentences. The moon is the Earth's nearest neighbor. Neil Armstrong was the first man to step on the moon. The astronauts brought soil and photographs of the moon. Trees and flowers cannot grow on the moon. Now come to E. Answer the following questions. Name the three men who went to the moon in 1969. Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Edwin Aldrin. How did the astronauts go to the moon? The astronaut went to the moon in a rocket. There are no trees, animals, or people on the moon. Why? Because there is no air as well as water on the moon. Now come to project idea. In this, what we have to do? We have to visit a planetarium that is there in your city and learn about the sun, the moon, and the stars.